All right.
Surprise, surprise, surprise. For those who believe in today being a holiday, a day of celebration, which most of us who are enlightened know what the real deal is, I just want to say that we have a surprise guest who is family, who you know down through the years if you follow LANCESCURV for the longest time. We have here formerly Madam Whip-Ass, but tonight she's Madamdrunkazz. Madamdrunkazz, how are you? Tell the world your state why I say that.
Look, it's Christmas. And I'm not much of a drinker, but I do love to drink eggnog and rum around the holidays. So I've had some eggnog and rum and some rum cake.
Oh my God.
So I'm like gonna be in the rare form, you know. I got a question for you.
Ah,
First of all,
this-
a lot of shit been happening. Um, crazy shit, you know, non-black parent shit. And I want to know whatever happened when a mother would say, I brought your ass into this world and I'll take you the
take
fuck
your
out.
ass out of here. Yep.
I ain't nobody saying that no more.
I know.
That expression in decades.
Let me just say really quick, we have Sweetberry that said, hey, madam, hello, madam, shalom.
Hello, hello.
Sweetberry in the house. But go ahead, madam.
So this is leading up to rest in peace to the late Rob Reiner and his wonderful wife, Michelle Singer Reiner. I have so much to say. And you want to be respectful, and I will be respectful. And my thoughts, I need you to understand, is not to disrespect Mr. Rob Reiner, nor his wife, nor the tragedy.
Right.
But we've got to look at the situation for what it is or what it was so that we can understand it and learn from it. That's my premise.
Okay. So we got you, but you can dig in.
So let me start this. I was born in 1967, and you know, if you wasn't born in the 60s or the 50s, a lot of black people won't admit this, but I'll admit it. As a little black girl in the early 70s, you know, when you grow up in a white world, meaning everything was white. When you walk out your house and you look at the billboards and advertisements, it's white people. When you turn on the TV, it's just white shows. When you listen to the radio, you're listening to the voices of white people, you know?
Yeah.
And what would that do to anybody? It will make you think that those type of people are better. They were mean and racist, so that meant that they were bad people as well. And that, you know, you really ain't shit. Well, for me, Michael Stivic, who was the character of Rob Reiner on All in the Family, because of Michael Stivic, I learned at the age of 6 and 7 that all white people aren't bad. Thank God for that character, Michael Stivic. And I grew up on Rob Reiner, especially when he became a director, all those fantastic movies he directed in the 80s and the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I never, nobody ever imagined that his life will end the way it did on December 14th.
I know.
He was 78 years old. His wife was 68 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And although he was a super director and probably one of the gatekeepers in Hollywood, he was an activist. He was so many things. But above all, he was one of the most compassionate people I've ever seen. And I'm a pretty compassionate person. But I'm not sure that if I think about it, was he super compassionate or was he in denial and naive? At least when it came to Nick Reiner, his son.
Yeah.
If I was Madam Reiner, meaning the parent of Nick Reiner, with the Reiner money and all the accoutrements and shit that come with the Reiner name, I would still be alive today. And as far as Nick is concerned, there'll probably be two options for him as he would be today. Either he would be a stand-up man at the age of 32, being self-supportive and responsible and mature, or he'd be the one dead. There would be no in between if I was Madam Reiner.
Oh man.
You know?
I love you drunk. I love you drunk.
And I'm more inclined to believe that he would be a stand-up kind of man at the age of 32 today. There would be no tragic ending. Madam Reiner would have died at a nice, ripe old age, probably in her sleep. Short and sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be damned if my child will gut me like a fucking pig and end my life.
Tell it.
So I've been immersed in this tragedy and watching videos and listening to podcasts and just trying to learn and analyze all that I could. And in doing that, I've arrived at quite a few conclusions. Well, I've concluded that his parents, Nick Reiner's parents, who is Rob Reiner, Michelle Singer Reiner, not only were they in denial, but they were enablers. I've learned that they loved all three of their children. I don't think they loved one child more than the other. I don't believe that. But I think they gave the most or a lot of attention to the one who needed attention. And that would be Nick. How could they not? They loved their child. I believe that they tried, that they had a philosophy that they can love their child into sobriety. They could love their child out of addiction. I believe that they strongly believe that they knew their child, and where they went wrong there was that they did not know their child. Oh, wait, let me correct that. They knew their child when their child did not do drugs. They knew their sober child. They did not know their addicted child. And I don't think they had any conception that of your sober child and your addicted child in one person, in one body. So they clung on trying to love their sober child while that addicted child, who is the same individual, Nick, was exploiting and abusing the love that he knew his parents had for him. The addicted Nick Reiner. So Nick, I mean, look, the Reiners are worth, they say, over $200 million. I like to think they're worth more than that. They should be, but okay, $200 million is a lot of money. And Nick started using drugs at the age of 13. By the time Nick was 15, they had entered him into a drug rehabilitation facility. So from the age of 15 to the age of 22, Nick Reiner had been in approximately 19 rehab facilities. Nick Reiner never went to high school. You can't even say he dropped out of high school. That little nigga never went to high school. And I watched an interview with Nick and his father, Rob Reiner. This had to be in about 2016 or so. Allegedly, Nick Reiner was sober, and he and another sober buddy wrote and completed a screenplay talking about addiction. Being Charlie is the name of the movie, of which his father directed. So they were on a press tour promoting this movie. And Rob Reiner says, you know, you love your kids, and when they're in trouble, you want to help them, and your job as a parent is to protect them. And I would listen to anybody sitting behind a desk with a degree on the wall. And these therapists would say, don't listen to Nick. Nick is lying to you. Nick is manipulating you. And he said, where I went wrong is that I didn't trust my own intuition. And I came to the conclusion that none of these people knew Nick better than my wife and I, his mother and I. And that's what I should have went with. I should have went with my gut feeling. So he dismissed what the therapists were telling him.
Right.
Now, there's a podcast called the Dopey Podcast. Dopey, D-O-P-E-Y.
Dopey.
Yeah, and these are addicts in recovery.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you're
Okay.
an addict, I would suggest you go listen to their podcast, because it sounds like all they do is romanticize drug use. And if you're an addict in recovery, it's not gonna do nothing but trigger you, and you're gonna want to get high. So, but Nick used to come on that show.
Oh, wow.
And one of the things, you know, they like people to come on and tell their drug stories.
Oh, no.
And Nick talked about at one point he was in Maine, and at a rehab facility or what have you. And he said that he wanted, you know, he said he won't even call it a relapse. He said he just wanted to get back to California so he could do what he wanted to do, which was nothing but get high. Because I believe there's no drug under the sun that Nick Reiner did not do. As a matter of fact, I will describe him as a drug connoisseur.
Hmm.
And so Nick said, he knew that if he got high in Maine, he would get caught and he would never be able to get back to California. So he stayed sober. He was able to stay sober long enough so he can be deemed sober, and he's going to work on his sobriety when he gets back home to California. Got back to California, started doing drugs. Also heard Nick in an interview say out of his own mouth, I can do anything in California and get away with it. Now, Nick lived in the guest house because, the miners, being that they're super duper millionaires,
right?
They have this palatial estate with, guest houses on the property. And Nick lived in the guest house, didn't pay no rent, no electricity, didn't have to worry about nothing other than collecting his $10,000 a month. What do you call it? Allowance.
My God, 10,000 a month.
In allowance, didn't pay nothing.
And no overhead, no mortgage, no rent, no
nothing. Nothing.
Jeez.
And so he would do meth and coke and be up for days and, trash the guest house. We're not talking about, just not cleaning up behind himself. I'm talking about busting walls, all the windows, breaking the sink, the television, breaking lamps, just destroying the guest house. And because the Rhiners were millionaires, hey, Nick trashed the guest house. Call Mike Construction, they'll come and renovate it again. He's trashed the guest house 3 times. And if you hear Nick tell it, it was, quote unquote, my guest house.
Wow.
This nigga didn't even go back.
And getting an allowance.
Yeah. Didn't even go to high school, and you gonna talk about my guest house. He didn't own a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of.
Madamdrunkazz.
You talk about an entitled little piece of shit. That is Nick Reiner. He said a lot of things in these dopey podcast interviews. He said a lot of things. And another thing that I found interesting, that when you see him visually on interviews with his father when they were promoting that movie, he seems awkward. And dare I say, a tad bit off. But when you hear him on the Dopey podcast, he's with it, articulate, conversing well, conversing appropriately. It's almost like 2 different people.
Well, you know why? He's in his element. He's talking about drugs with other ex-druggies. See, anywhere else he would feel awkward because he knows that the people that his father and mother were around professionally probably didn't do that. And if they did, it was hidden, because drugs are all over the place in the entertainment industry. But the people that the father hung out with were probably much older, unless they had some type of role in Hollywood with a movie or something like that. So that wasn't his crowd. But on the podcast, you have these ex-druggies who understand. And like you said, it seems like they're glorifying it. I mean, I wouldn't want to talk about it if I was an ex-druggie. But this man found his tribe, and that was his element, because you know what? They understand.
So, we can fast forward to December 13th, 2025. Conan O'Brien is having his yearly Christmas party, and it's always who's who of Hollywood who shows up, and it's a black tie affair. You show up there in tuxedos and evening gowns and all of that stuff.
Yep.
And I understand that Rob Reiner asked Conan O'Brien if they can bring their son Nick. In the past month leading up to the Christmas party, it's been said that Nick's behavior was erratic and dangerous, and his parents wanted to keep an eye on him. So they have him show up at this Christmas party, or whether they arrive together, I don't know. But everybody's dressed and decked out in their black tails and all of this. But Nick shows up in a hoodie. Now, here's some things that confuse me in terms of the reports I've heard of that event. They say that Nick was just walking around the party and asking people their name and if they were famous. Now, everybody who was at this party is famous. These are the who's who, A-listers of Hollywood.
Right.
And so I can imagine that's being annoying, and especially if he's dressed like a bum. You know, I can see people being a bit put off, and, you know. And then at some point, Nick and his father get into a loud argument. And there are guests there who want to call 911. And Conan O'Brien, as it's being reported, whether or not this is true, I don't know. But if it's true, Conan, what was that?
Oh, you heard something?
Hello?
No. Yeah, I'm here. I'm still here. You can hear me?
Yeah. Conan O'Brien says, no, this is my house, my party. We will not be calling 911. Now, here's my confusion. So you're at this A-lister Christmas party event, right? And you got Nick Reiner, who's acting weird, okay? And he's asking people their name and if they're famous. Now, as annoying as that is, I don't find that to be alarming enough to prompt anybody to want to call 911.
Right.
Now, when he's in a loud argument with his father, unless he's threatening to kill and shoot up everybody at the party, which has not been reported, so that was never stated. I'm just saying.
Right.
Two people having a loud argument would not provoke anybody to want to call 911. The very idea of guests wanting to call 911 tells me that Nick was doing more than walking around asking people their name and if they're famous. I'm inclined to believe that Nick was doing shit like, you know, maybe he whipped out his dick and pissed in the punch bowl, you know? That would provoke people to want to call 911. Don't you agree?
Exactly.
So we don't really know what happened. We will once it goes to trial. You know, all of this stuff will come out. So I know that he had been doing a whole lot more than what they said he did.
Right.
So the next day, December 14th, is about 3:30 in the afternoon. You know, people in California, you ain't even got to be in Hollywood. Everybody has a masseuse come over and give them a massage like twice a week. What that shit's about, I don't know. But if you are a masseuse in California, you know, that could be your business and you can make a lot of money. So they were supposed to have their massage done at 3:30 on a Sunday in the afternoon. The masseuse comes, can't get in, there's no answer. The masseuse contacts the daughter, and she goes across the road to the house of her parents. She sees her father dead.
Oh, God.
I could only imagine the state she saw her father in.
Yeah.
She saw her father. She saw blood first, lots of it. She saw her father in full rigor mortis.
Oh, God.
She saw his death expression on his face, frozen on his face.
It wasn't pleasant.
She saw her father, who was once a human being, now laying down someplace, gutted like a fucking pig. And she runs out. Police are called, of course. She doesn't even know her mother is deceased because she didn't see the mother. I imagine it's just bad enough she saw her father in that condition. It's a memory she'll never forget. It's a memory that has been haunting her for the past, 12 days now. Even when she's awake, she sees that image. She's traumatized.
Yeah.
She must go into therapy. So, how it comes about that, where's Nick? Nick had to have done this. However that comes about, whatever. Now they're looking for Nick. They pulled video, and you see Nick at about 11 o'clock, and I believe it's after the party on Saturday night. He's walking past the gas station. Like, he's just going somewhere at his leisurely time. You look at him on the video, you would never think he slaughtered his mother and father. Then at 4:15 a.m. on Sunday morning, you figure 5 hours after that first video, he checks into a hotel in Santa Monica. The clerk there says, kind of looked like he was tweaking, but I didn't see any blood. But they find blood all in the shower, on the bed. He got bloody bed sheets covering the windows in the hotel room. Then they show a video of him. He walks into like a mini mart at a gas station. And, you see him looking around. You know how when you walk in the store, you just throwing your eye at the items available for sale or whatever. That's what he's doing. Doesn't look paranoid or anything. He's just looking at stuff as he's walking by. Maybe something will catch his eye that he might want to purchase. Goes and gets himself a drink, stands in line. A cop comes into the store. And he does turn and look at the cop. And when the cop passes behind him, he turns and looks at the cop and watches the cop. Oh, the cop, he's just going to the drink machine and get himself a drink or whatever. But he pays for his drink or whatever. And he just walks out like he normally would have done a million times before. As he walks across the street, the cops roll up on him. He immediately puts his hands up and he gets down on the ground, and he is now arrested.
He knows the drill.
Well, in 48 hours, he was able to hire the best of the best defense attorneys in America right now. And that is attorney Alan Jackson, whose fee is $2,000 an hour. Now, Nick been a junkie since he was 13. He ain't got no money to pay this attorney $2,000 an hour. I'm sure the best friends, and even aunts and uncles are not putting out any money for an attorney.
Right.
Well, who is? I believe it's his siblings. Well,
I think
why would
so.
his siblings do that? Their siblings probably still are in shock and devastated. All of a sudden, out of the blue, they have all these massive decisions they have to make. Decisions that they never thought they'd have to make anytime soon. Decisions that they never thought they would have to make under such circumstances of their parents being stabbed at least 100 times with their throats slit. And I guess in their state of mind, the best way they can make any decision, the most helpful way is to sit down and think, what would mom and dad want us to do?
Right.
And even though their parents love them so much, with no question and no doubt, they rightfully concluded, as per their family dynamic, that the estate should pay for an attorney for Nick.
Oh, wow.
Now, when it's all said and done, because right now they're trying to say, you know, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Now, if you don't know anything about schizophrenia, allow me to give you a little bit of information that I know. Number one, schizophrenia presents itself between the ages of 19 and 25. It can present itself, and it oftentimes does, before the age of 19, but you cannot diagnose an adolescent as having schizophrenia because although in adolescence they might be presenting all the symptoms of schizophrenia, but it might turn out to be something else. So that's why you have to wait until they're 19 to get the full true diagnosis of schizophrenia.
Let me
Now,
interject,
all the
Madam
research,
Best. Let me interject and say that you know your stuff professionally. I won't say whatever career path, whatever, but you know this stuff. Uh, and you know the stuff with the people who are on drugs. You know this stuff. You've dealt with this professionally. So if anybody wants to come and say you don't know what you're talking about, they don't know what they're talking about. You're an authority on this. So when you speak, we all have to listen. Go ahead.
so as I was saying, I've never heard anything about a mental illness, although when you look at Nick, you could see that there was something wrong. Now, I was wondering, hey, I wonder if he's on the spectrum. And then he said something about, in terms of using drugs, he said a lot of times I was using drugs because I wanted to quiet the noise. And I said, quiet the noise? That sounds like schizophrenia. These are things that that's crossing my mind. But never talked about schizophrenia or anything until after these murders were committed. Now he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Well, here's my other confusion. So he's been diagnosed with schizophrenia, and what happened, as they're saying, is that in the past month leading up to the murders, he had been acting erratic and dangerous because his meds had been changed, and it was making him worse. So they say. So they're trying to blame it on schizophrenia and the medication. But here's my thing. First of all, I do know that when somebody has an episode and they go into a hospital with a psychiatrist and their medication, they normally don't leave the hospital until they are stable enough to leave the hospital, meaning that they have the right cocktail of medication to stabilize them, and then they can go home. So why would you change the medication of a schizophrenic who is erratic and dangerous, quote unquote, and you try to stabilize him at home? And if he's been so erratic and dangerous because his medication is off, I don't understand why you thought it was a good idea to take him to a fucking Christmas party and not to the psychiatric facility. I'm confused. I'm confused. Sometimes I've seen people take more than a year before the doctors can get the right cocktail for them so that they can go on and live with schizophrenia and have a normal life and go to work and be productive. Some people, it might take 2 years. If they have schizophrenia and they're diagnosed with bipolar and this and that and the other, it may take 2 years to get them stabilized. Listen, I'll never forget this as long as I live. 2017, at my job, had a client there. How old was she? About 17. Lights out at 8 o'clock. It's like 11:30. She up. She talking to people who ain't there. She laughing and cracking up because these people she talking to who ain't there, they funny like shit. And so, because she was noisy, I took her to the quiet room. Ladies and gentlemen, when I tell you this was one experience that I've had, quiet room is just a padded room. And I'm sitting down in the chair and she's standing up and she got a cup of water. But all of a sudden, we at a party. And I tell you, it felt like other people were there, although it was just she and I, and she got a cup of water acting like it's a drink. But they at a party. Now, at the beginning of the party, she's crying and she's expressing and telling her friends about the relationship with her mother. And her friends were consoling her, you know? And she was talking about different things. Let me remind you, it was just she and I in the quiet room. And I could feel the presence of all these people that weren't there. And I sat there and I watched her. And after they finished consoling her, the party was on. There was music playing that was not playing, that I did not hear, but I know music was playing. And they all were dancing and having a good fucking time. It was the best fucking party I ever been to. And this went on from midnight till about 5 a.m. And in the midst of the partying and the dancing and the laughing and the talking, she backed up and held her drink high up in the air and said, "Shout out to mental illness."
Oh, man.
I was like, all right now. And by 5 o'clock, everybody was going home. Party was over. She said, "I'm ready to go to bed now." I said, "All right, come on." Took her back on the unit and she got in bed and went to sleep.
Wow.
After partying all night long. And still, it was about another year after that before she was able to leave, when she was stabilized. And, you know, there was sometimes I come on the unit and she looked like she was standing on the corner. I'd be like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she would nod her head like she a nigga standing on the corner. You know how niggas do when they stand on the corner? And you say, "What's up?" They just nod their head. That's what she did. And she was Spanish.
Mm. Oh, wow.
So when it was close for her, she had a discharge date. And I said to her, I'm so proud of you. You came a long way. I remember when you first got here. She said, yeah, I feel a lot better now. And I said, well, how do you know you're ready to go home? She said, because now I know the difference between what's real and what's not.
Mm-mm. Amazing.
That's schizophrenia.
I want to play a clip that was just sent to me, and it's a roast of Rob Reiner. Obviously, it says up here, 2000 up in the upper right-hand corner. I have a banner covering it, so I don't know if I'm really able to show all of the visuals, but it's Rob Reiner, and I think it's Al Franken that's roasting him. But supposedly, he's insinuating that he trafficked out his son.
Go ahead and play.
Yeah, it's only 3 minutes and 45 seconds, so let me play it right now. Let's see if we get this audio going.
Hey, I've been having just a great time. Everybody's been really, really funny. I just don't want people to get the wrong idea that this is not really, Rob's favorite style of humor. What he really enjoys is what I do, which is far more substantive. But I have to tell you that Rob has devoted himself to seeing the kids from birth to age 3 get the kind of nurturing, intellectual stimulation, love, really, that will make them grow up to be a fully functional, happy person, unlike, say, Brett. And it's a great thing. Most people don't know where this comes from. And Rob doesn't like to talk about it because he's kind of a modest guy. But it comes out of his own personal experience. See, as a baby, Rob was routinely beaten by his father, Carl. Rob believes that this early physical abuse had a profound effect on him as an adult and led to the horrible failure of Ghosts of Mississippi.
I'm going to go for North on that one. Just curious.
Exactly. What possibly could explain North?
I helped them out.
On a typical night, Carl would slip into Rob's bed,
Jesus.
roll him over, swab him down, and say something like, I'm thinking about hiring Maury Amsterdam to play Buddy Sorrell. What do you think? Well, the success of the Dick Van Dyke Show changed things dramatically. Carl started inviting many of his famous friends to son. And that list includes some of the greats in comedy. Paul Lynde. Dom DeLuise. Rip Taylor. Danny Kaye. Charles Nelson Riley. I frankly don't think was that funny. Rob, I love you like a brother.
Wait a minute. Don't love me like a brother.
No, and all kidding aside, it's been a great evening, and thank you for doing so much to make sure that no other kid ends up like you.
Thank you, Al.
Yeah, that's the end of it.
You know what I got to say to that?
Tell me.
So, it was a roast. It was jokes. If there was any truth to that, I doubt Rob Reiner would be sitting up there cracking up. Because that sounds horrifying. And all of your listeners, how many of y'all remember Paul Lynn and all the people he mentioned, Dom DeLuise and
yeah, I remember all of them.
Yeah, I remember all of them. Gay as the day is long. That's why they were mentioned. None of that happened. It was a roast. All jokes. Do I find it appropriate? No. But I'm not going to read anything into it. I don't. It was a roast. And, you know, black people's humor in comedy is different than white people's humor in comedy. I just take it as their form of humor and comedy and no truth to that whatsoever. Not to say that it doesn't happen. I just don't believe it happened in this instance.
Right.
And I think that's why it was delivered that way as a play on what really does happen to some people. But it didn't happen to Rob Reiner. Even when he talks about as a baby, he was beat every day. Bullshit. I just heard Rob Reiner talk about how growing up, he had no boundaries. So therefore, he had no boundaries for his own children. And I even heard Romy, his daughter, say they grew up without having any boundaries. They can do what they wanted.
Wow.
So that's another destructive ingredient to their parenting. Kids
It set
need
the stage.
boundaries.
Yeah, set the stage.
Kids that don't have boundaries, they grow up resenting you for not having boundaries. And as much as kids are defiant against authority and stuff, when it really boils down to it, kids want to be directed by their parents. Even though they fight you tooth and nail. But any honest kid will tell you, they want direction. They want discipline from their parents. I had a teenager once tell me, you know, her mother had been on drugs, so she was living with another relative, and then she ended up living back with her mother after like 5 or 6 years at the point that she was a teenager. And she said it's a Saturday night, the first Saturday night together, she's back with her mother. And her mother's telling her at 10 o'clock at night, you don't have a party to go to, you can go hang out and come back when you want. And this teenager, who was 15 at the time, sat and told me that she thought to herself, this woman should not be raising me. She did not appreciate her mother telling her to go hang out in the street at 10 o'clock and come home when she wants. That was weird to her. So kids need boundaries, of which none of the Reiner children had. So, in the end, we got dead parents and a son sitting in a turtle suit in jail. You know what a turtle suit is. Out there in California, it's blue, but on the East Coast, it's usually green. And it's this heavy thing that just has Velcro, and you're butt naked underneath. And you have to sit in that thing because they want to make sure you won't harm yourself. There's no way you can take something off of that item and hang yourself or anything. And you sit in a cold cell, butt naked with this turtle suit on. It's like a dress, a heavy dress.
Wow.
And you look like a fucking turtle. So it's called a turtle suit. But this is his life now. And when it's all said and done, we are at the very early stages of this saga. But when it's all said and done, Rob Reiner's son, Nick Reiner, will not spend one day in San Quentin prison, where he should. When it's all said and done, because of who his father, his parents were, and because how much money is in the estate, he will go to some country club facility where you cannot leave, but the campus is beautiful and you can go horseback riding and swimming, and there's a lake, a pond, and you can go fishing in the pond, and you can play tennis and basketball, and you'll have your own apartment, and you'll dine on fine cuisine morning, noon, and night, and even have snacks. And that's how he will spend the rest of his days in some facility that will probably cost upwards of $1 million a year for him to be at. What a world, y'all. What a world.
Wow.
Any comments?
Oh, yeah, there's a whole lot of comments in the room. Drop your comments, y'all. I wanted to also, if you're finished with that, but you can continue on that. But we spoke earlier, and you don't have to go long. I'd love for you to go long. The longer, the better. The whole P. Diddy documentary and some of those points that you brought up, if you can kind of rehash that. It doesn't have to be exactly as we said it, but it was very interesting. That was actually show ready. I mean, I wish, when you start talking, I'm gonna grab a recorder. And you brought up some good points on how you felt about the documentary, 50 Cent, some of the relationships that Diddy had, especially with that young man who was supposed to get paid $250,000, and they had some kind of something going on, but he acted so innocent and just kind of rehash them.
First of all,
don't hold back.
I couldn't hold back if I wanted to. I'm drinking eggnog and rum. Anyway, let me preface everything by saying I am no fan of Diddy. I always thought, and I'm going to take y'all way back with some early 80s slang, okay? Early 80s slang. Every time I looked at Diddy, I always found him to be a duck nigga.
Explain.
Don't you remember in the 80s, it'd be like, I don't fuck with them duck niggas. Them niggas are ducks. I don't know what that meant. Hey, I just knew it didn't mean anything good.
Followers.
Did he look like a duck? And I mean, I can't imagine Cassie allowing some duck nigga to whip her ass like that. But that's neither here nor there. The documentary was very interesting. But I think there's some lies attached to that documentary. And my thing is this: Diddy is where he belongs. Yes, he is. He's where he belongs. Diddy is not a real good person. He is not. Diddy has done some fucked up shit. Yes, he has. He has. But for anybody, including Diddy, if somebody is really so bad, you don't have to throw lies on top of it to make him look even worse. You know, if the truth is that Diddy's a real fucked up individual, the truth is just like God. The truth in God stands by themselves. God is God all by himself. He don't need nobody's help. And that's the same thing with the truth. The truth is the truth all by itself. It doesn't need lies for any help. And there's some lies in that documentary. First of all, I'll start with the theory or the accusation that Diddy had Tupac murdered. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I really want you to think about this and hear me out, okay? It's being said that Diddy put $1 million bounty on the head of Tupac and Suge Knight. Keefe D, as you know, is in jail in Vegas awaiting trial for the murder of Tupac. Keefe D is a Crip. Been a Crip all his life. Crip for life, right? So Tupac is murdered. He wants his $1 million. Diddy says, no, it's only $500,000 because Suge Knight is still alive. Well, Diddy allegedly gives Von Zip a check, whatever, and the money's supposed to get back to Keefe D for murdering Tupac. But Keefe D never gets the money. Keefe D, the Crip, never gets the money. Now here's where my confusion comes in. How many people were killed by Crips because they were wearing the wrong color? How many people lost their lives to a Crip because they stepped on their sneaker? How many people lost their lives to Crips because they owed them some drug money or some drugs? So you mean to tell me that you done committed a murder for $500,000. Now you got a body on your hands and you didn't get your $500,000? And Diddy still walking around living? No retaliation, no nothing. But I'm supposed to believe that Diddy had a hit out on Tupac. The hit was carried out and the Crip never got his money. And all is well in the world. That's what you want me to believe. Get the fuck out of here.
I was waiting for that. Wow,
The
good
other
point.
thing is this guy, Little Rod. He's in the documentary. He's the producer that worked on Diddy's Love album for well over a year. And in the documentary, you hear him say, I don't know. Fell asleep. I woke up on the bed and my ass was hurting. And Diddy was asleep next to me.
Oh, God.
I'm confused. You know, I just was just confused.
But he
Now,
kept hanging with Diddy.
yeah. You wake up with your ass sore next to a nigga and you confused as to what happened, your ass is sore.
Well,
You're lying.
Diddy will be get pulled out in a stretcher. And
The
maybe not alive.
confusion is not that he woke up with a sore ass next to Diddy. The confusion is that he was in a relationship with Diddy. Diddy had turned him out. Diddy was his first homosexual lover. And then factor in the lifestyle and the money and the trips and the parties and all of that.
Yeah.
And then factor in him waiting, for his payday for working on this album.
Wow.
And then when he doesn't get paid, he realizes how a lot of women feel when guys play them. Only thing is, he's a dude that just got played by another dude. And now he's confused. What is he confused about? Well, I was fucking around with Diddy. I didn't think I would like it, but I liked it and it started feeling good. And I started liking Diddy and the lifestyle and maybe even loving Diddy and loving the lifestyle. And now that it's all taken away and I didn't even get paid for giving up my butt. And now I still want to get down with dudes. And I might be gay. I'm confused.
He put that spirit on him.
Now he's confused about his sexuality. Y'all don't get it twisted. That's his confusion. He's confused about his sexuality now because he's still desiring the touch of a man. That's the confusion.
Interesting point.
You see, you engage in this relationship, and then when things don't turn out the way you romanticize it about, I'm sure he sat down and drew Diddy and Little Rod and drew a heart around it.
So old junior high school stuff, elementary school. You're a real
I'm
form
sure
tonight.
he's done that countless times. And now he has a broken heart and broken pockets because he's broke and he didn't get paid what he should have gotten paid. That's the confusion.
And now he's back to a lifestyle. Because could you imagine, while going through this type of union, which I don't understand, but you broke it down, the hotels, the travel, the famous people he met, the camaraderie, the restaurants, the good food. He just thought, he was going to get paid $250,000, but he was living it up like he had more because Diddy was Diddying with him. You know what I mean? So all of that drops. And he's left now back to his former life. I don't know if he was poor or whatever, he was doing his thing. But it wasn't on the level financially is what Diddy provided. And then he was giving that up. And possibly if he was approached by a regular gay dude, he'd say, no, what are you talking about? But see, the thing is, it's Diddy and it's money. And if I let this happen, then that'll open the doorway to a lifetime of even more. $250,000 is nothing. I'll probably get millions because I know he's going to love me. You see what I mean? In a sick way.
Yeah. And now, it's easier to try to absolve yourself from any responsibility of the sexual relationship. You want to put out a narrative that, your butt was taken from you. You don't want people to know that you willingly gave it up.
Right.
So you want to present yourself as a victim when the truth is you was sitting by your cell phone waiting for Diddy to call. And as for Kirk Burroughs, he has the same narrative. Diddy sexually assaulted me countless times. He's made me perform fellatio on it.
Oh, man. That's crazy.
Come on, dude. Come on, son.
And he took the 25% of his interest out of the company and took it. Made him give it up.
How let a duck nigga do that to you? I wish I did have 25%, and Diddy talk about he wanted that. Fuck you. You ain't getting shit. What you gonna do? Whoop my ass? Whoop my ass. You still ain't gonna get it. And right now, I'm texting my mama. I got a group text talking about you want 25%, and if I wind up dead, Diddy did it because he want 25% that belong to me. Now everybody know what the fuck you gonna do. You ain't getting it. Go ahead and take my life. I swear to God, motherfucker, I'll come back and want you every minute of your fucking life.
Tell it.
When you in the shower, I'll take my ghost foot and kick you in your dick.
Oh, man.
I don't understand how you let a sucker sucker you. Where did you that at? Who's afraid of Diddy? I wouldn't be afraid of this fool. Diddy will have one time to hit me. Just one time. Not only am I gonna fuck you up, but I'm gonna sue you afterwards. So all of this is, some of it is bullshit. And some of it is true. He's in jail. He's almost 60. There ain't no hot 60-year-old rappers. He got more than 120 people suing him. You know how much it costs for attorneys to deal with all of that. Yeah, his money is long. It's possible he might have a few million left when it's all said and done. Maybe, depending on who might win their lawsuit out of these 120 people. Can he make a comeback? He can make a comeback surreptitiously, anonymously, create brands that he's behind, but he's not the face of, but he's pulling all the strings. He has the wisdom and the talent to do that, I believe. But as far as him being front and open and having artists on a record label and he all in the videos, no, those days are over. And that's all I got to say about Diddy. That whole trial and everything was a trip and a half. I want to know how come 50 Cent didn't do a cameo of his baby mama freaking off with Diddy. How come she wasn't in the documentary? I told you before in a prior video, all of those people are trash, including their kids, trash. Including Diddy's mama, trash. Little Rod, trash. Kirk Burrows, trash. Cassie, trash. Cassie's husband, trash. Their 3 children, even a newborn baby, trash. All of them are trash. Trash with money. And that's that. I'm done.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That was a real treat and a gift. We got to get back in the tradition. We used to do the New Year's Eve show. We used to do like a Christmas show. Well, if you're free, let's swing around and do something on New Year's Eve, which for me would be, I'd have to get up in the morning because the countdown for me would be right before 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah.
She broke it down. Madam Whip-Ass in the house. Madamdrunkazz. Now, see, I didn't call you that. You told me to put that up, so don't think I'm disrespecting the madam.
Yeah,
fun.
It's Christmas Eve, y'all. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And I just do eggnog and rum. And you know, they say, somebody told me many, many years ago that you can be an individual who doesn't drink or anything, right?
Right.
But if only around the holidays you get shit-faced, drunk, or high, you are an addict.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I only get drunk around Thanksgiving and Christmas because eggnog is in season. And I like eggnog and rum. Outside of that, I don't drink much. I might drink a Long Island iced tea in the summer.
Right.
But, you know, I'm
But
not one, oh, I can't wait to get home to have a drink. Only around the holidays, I can't wait to get home so I can have some eggnog and rum.
No, I've known you a long time. I've never even associated you with drinking. And if you did drink, it's not like, really, this is like the first time I noticed.
Yeah. It's so good, y'all. I love eggnog. And then the rum in it is just real special. But yeah, so I'll keep you all posted with the Rob Reiner situation. Well, Nick Reiner, I should say. Little spoiled piece of shit.
Wow. You did your research with that. You knew the ins and outs, gotta say. When you go in on something, it's thorough. Trust me. Just like back in the days when we went in on Eddie Long, that was, and you know, I just have to throw this in. At the time that happened, and when we did those videos that are lost now, I don't know if I can recover those since they took the channel, but actually, what was it? New Birth. I had a way of checking who went on the videos to watch them, right? It was this program. It's not around anymore. And I could tell, like, okay, if you had some type of internet connection, like in America, it's what now? Your internet. It could be this or that. But if it was a school or a church, a business, it said the business, right? And that video that we did, where you broke it down in New Birth, for a few hours is nothing but new birth. So you can't tell me that was just staff. That had to be Eddie Long himself listening to your words, ripping him apart. I know he was scared of you.
Lord.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, but didn't I showed it to you, remember, right?
Yeah.
I did a screenshot and showed it to you. And they kept going back to it. So it had to be him. It had to be him.
Yeah, that was a video. The Holy Ghost is a revealer.
Yes.
Yep.
I
was confused then too, because I wanted to know how the pastor's wife, who was filled with the Holy Ghost, that the Holy Ghost didn't reveal to her that Eddie Long was sucking dick.
You didn't pull no punches either. But we made a lot of spin-off videos on that. I think I found one of them, but it wasn't that one.
You know, I just didn't understand. A lot of shit that goes on in this world, I just don't understand.
Same here.
You know, how are you so spiritual, but you know, the Lord don't reveal to you what your husband's doing?
But she
because
had that
the
money
Holy Ghost is a revealer.
Yep.
It will show you things you ain't even looking for.
They're serious.
You know? These people in this world, I'm about tired of them. That's why I like to immerse myself in eggnog and rum around the holiday. Helps me forget all this stupid shit.
And this stuff will continue to happen too. We got to go on soon on the Black church again. You know, I know there's going to be.
Well, you know what? I think the Black church is diminishing, and it has diminished a great deal since we started in on it. I think we were instrumental in opening a lot of people's eyes, especially with these mega churches.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I say leave these mega churches alone. I ain't telling you to leave God. Just leave these churches. Because children ain't safe in these churches. All they want is your money so they can have their private jets and their 22-bedroom houses with a heliport in their backyard so they can land their helicopters. That ain't right. What's wrong with this picture? Meanwhile, you taking the bus to church. And they got 19 cars. You can only drive one car at a time. But your pastor got 19 of them. And you taking the bus.
Wow.
You don't see nothing wrong with that? After giving all your money? They still telling you to wait on the Lord. And they got private jets.
Mm-hmm.
Golden toilet bowls. Real gold toilet bowls.
That's
For $20,000.
ridiculous.
They just shitting all over the gospel, ain't they?
Mm. Mm.
Anyway, here we go, because I'm starting to trip out.
Well, if you shift gears, I'll be here to capture the words. Trust me. When Madam Whip-Whip-Ass speaks, the world listens. That's right.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
And when I come to America to visit, I'm going to bring some eggnog, no matter what time of the year it is. And we're going to do a nice recording.
Oh, I would love that. When you coming?
Not too long from now. I'll make it a surprise.
Okay. All right. And you know where I live. Mm-hmm. Anyway, to all of you, I wish you a very Merry Christmas. I want you to have the most happiest and prosperous New Year. There's never going to be a year or a month or several months where there is no conflict. If it ain't one thing, it's another. But if you could just grasp onto the concept that conflicts come into your life to help you grow, if you begin to look at your struggles as an opportunity to grow, you'll make it through. I promise you. Peace.
Peace, Madam Whip-Ass. We love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm tryna do more for the soul, way less for the bread. Yes, sir. I take pack to the lung, kill the stress to the head.
Globetrotter, so shocker. I keep it in the chrome locker. Don't rock her, I counter it with no offer. I don't wanna, I'm too busy, so chocker. Call me Mr. Roadblocker. I make a whole number turn to an eighth. Learn from mistakes, got the whole world on my plate. Nothing worse than my fate. Say your words get burnt on a stake. Took a turn for the cake, so we turn and we say, always had the power, open up from deep within. There's something that empowers me to draw a line under my sins. I never understood why there was such a way to live, and I'm stuck against a wall that keeps defining me as him. I'm painting never-ending canvases while I wrap them up in bandages and coexisting while ending what my anger is. Paying for no damages, I'm speaking universal languages. Out here, always seem to see the light. Never meant to be the vibe, but severed every reason why. Freedom got me talking all this peace and light, but wouldn't think twice to give a beating to an evil guy. Cause I'm worked up and worked out. I've served up and swerved down. Try turn up, not turn round. Keep that vibe up and serve sound. Rise up and burn down.
Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it. Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, I'm right in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it.
Chip, a go-getting headbanger. You best go get your best hammer. I'm getting dough, let the rest hang up. Catch me rolling in the 10 manner as I'm rolling up a king banner. It's like I saw it as it happened. It's like I'm orbiting round Saturn. I saw my chance and made a run for the light under the skies where we form an orderly fashion. Tried to take a course without crashing. Someone put some sauce in the wagon. Feeling slightly more debauched, racking rails at this flake, but I guess they say it's all about balance. Or whatever helps you sleep at night. I got that chem dog creeping through the reefer pipe. Is this the end of being in the deeper side? It all depends on the people and their feelings, right? Burn out, too much working on the other side. Trying to be other guys, but never let it slide. Turns out I'm a demon in disguise. Acting like you never seen it in my eyes. Not a lot to say, but got a lot of reason to be nice. And lock it off today and drop it off from evening into night. I got a proper way of speaking from my mind, and I won't stop today, been peaking all my life.
Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, turn bright in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it. Finding the finish line, sky is the limit, turn bright in the minutes. Grind with the realest, I'm climbing the hill, it's fine, time to come with it.
this matter, actually today I got to meet my friend Lance. Yes, I got to meet my friend Lance. This is my first time meeting him in person, and he's a very kind man, seriously. I do talk with him on phone, on WhatsApp, but I've never got to meet him. But today, it's just extraordinary. He's very, anything you want to know about life, anything you want to know about just him, anything you want to know about life, please. YouTube, Telegram, Instagram, Twitter, all the social media channels, you got to find him there. He's very inspiring. He's very positive. If you want anything positive about life, please subscribe to LANCESCURV. And then every day you got to see different videos, different talks, different topics about life. See you.